They grabbed her leg, threw him down to the ground, and the men jumped on top of him. And suddenly this pressure came down on his little shoulder, and the searing hot iron burned his flesh as it filled their nostrils. And they let him go, and they grabbed another one, pulled him down, grabbed him, did the same thing, and another one, until every single one of them was left with the brand of the ranchers on their shoulder. And for this small group of cattle, they were left with the mark that they would never forget. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, today I'd like to tell you why this type of branding doesn't work that well with humans. What is a brand? For cattle, it makes sense. It's the logo you put on someone's flesh. But a brand for a company or a place like that is actually anything that comes to mind when someone thinks of that company. When you hear a name, what do you think of that certain company? Now, everyone has a brand, but not everyone controls their brand. And companies can spend millions of dollars to try and put that control on a brand to make you think what they want to think about their company. Often it starts off with a logo. A certain logo. We could put a list of different letters up here just from logos, and I bet most of you could pick them all out. The little G with the orange lining around it would be Gatorade. The K that swoops out like this would be Kellogg's. The golden M would be McDonald's. So you've got it. And underneath that logo, they often put a slogan. And this is what they want you to think about their company. They're telling you they want you to remember this, to believe it, whether it's true or not. For McDonald's, they say, I'm loving it. And we hear it in the music, on the commercials, on the advertisement. I'm loving it. Well, I've been to McDonald's, and I'm not loving it. Because even though they can tell us these things and try and sear these images into our mind, it doesn't mean that we're really going to buy it. Because that's not how real branding works. If you want someone to believe what you're trying to push about your company, you have to prove it to them. You can't just brainwash them over time. So all those millions of dollars are going into the brainwashing. When really the proof is in how your company runs. And that starts with your employees. How your employees make a product that you're trying to sell, or how they answer the phones and give great customer service or not. Or get you at the cash register to get your Big Mac. That's where the proof is. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today, is what this can actually look like in your company. And the best way for me to explain this process is with an example. And we'll look at the Fort Worth Club. A while back, we decided that we needed to develop our brand. And we needed to figure out who we really are and how we want to push that out to our members, guests, and tenants, and the public around us. So we got together and we thought about, who are we? We did interviews. We had an outside company come in. They went to our events and they asked us questions. We had brainstorming sessions. And we boiled down all this information into one little paragraph. And from that, we thought of all the different words that describe us. And we started with about 120 words in one meeting. We boiled it down. How does this fit us well? What can we say about us in this area? We came down to 7 key words that we thought described us well and we wanted to describe us. And we call these our 7 attributes. For us at the club, it's distinguished, welcoming, giving, respected, valued, timeless, and dynamic. For us, this displays who we are. It's our brand that we want people to see when they think of us. But we didn't just stop there and make a logo that had all those things and a slogan you can sing a song to so people would try and remember these words when they came around us. But we went back to our staff and we wanted to teach them what these things really meant so that they could prove it to people when they came into our club. And the way we did this is we boiled it down in what we call the Guide to the Fort Worth Club Way. And what this is it describes all these attributes it gives definitions in here. We have pictures of employees who are doing a good job living these out. And with those words, we came up with different points under each one that describe how this attribute, this branding, is actually lived out on the job. For example, with the welcoming attribute, we put in things here that we want to live by remembering people's names when they come into the club. We want to say hello to fellow employees every day. We want to treat our members as extensions of our friends and family, because that will make us welcoming. We had a big kickoff. We got everyone excited about this. Put one of these in everyone's hands with their name in front of it so they can keep it with them. And then we started a training where we walked them through this. It's an interactive time where people can ask questions and we share stories about how we've seen this lived out at the club. We talked about practical ways that we as employees can do these things every day on the job, so that now we can start living out our brand instead of just telling people who we are and what we do. But that was just the start, because it's easy to forget these things. And if we really want to change our culture and the way we do things, we need to take these attributes and put them into daily practice. And that takes a lot of reinforcement. So at our employee events, we'll bring up certain attributes and talk about these points. We'll remind people of it. Managers can bring these to meetings and point them out as they're talking about the evening or the big banquet we're getting ready for. And most importantly, we started a recognition program that is based off of these same things. So employees can nominate fellow employees to win awards based off of the attributes. Who's the most welcoming this year? Who's been the most distinguished in their work? And for the person that lived out all of these things the best this past year, we're sending them on a cruise here in a month or two with the spouse. Now they know we're serious because we're really rewarding them for doing this. We're asking them to do it, and then we're coming around the back end to reinforce this. And over time, this is going to change the way our employees think. New people will come in, they'll take one of these, and they'll start to understand it. They'll see other people doing it. And over time, we will be proving our brand out to people instead of just saying what we want people to think about us. Now, as you think about your place of business today, you may think that this is just way too much money. There's no way we can afford something like this. Well, let me tell you where the money is spent. The money is spent on the Super Bowl commercials and the millions of ads you try and get out to people to try and believe your logo when you're not even proving it to them. That's where all the money is spent. With this process, what we do is we go to your company and we use what you already know. Use the people you already have and the brand that you've already established, and just look at things, how we can move it up to the next step, so that you're not spending all of the money on the commercials and all those things, but you're using what you already have. Maybe you're also thinking, this is just a huge process. We don't have the time to do it. This is too much trouble. And that's what I'm here for, is I'm here to do the work for you. I'm here to take out the knowledge from all your employees' heads and the different skills that you've developed, move it all into one spot, and develop a system for you so you can take what you've been doing for years and then just develop it, improve on it, and portray that to the public. And we can build a system so you can just take it and start running with it, or we can take it and do it for you. We can do the training. So we can put together the material and do these things for you. It's as simple as that. So, as you're thinking about how your company fits into something like this today, let's take a minute. Next week, we can sit down and talk about the specifics of how to move these grand ideas and what it would look like at your actual company. It won't take much time. In fact, we won't even have any price on it at all to start off. Just a minute to sit down and work on this. How you can move from the image of searing things into people's mind and trying to brainwash them, versus them tasting the steak and knowing as it melts in their mouth that the proof is in the pudding. How's Wednesday?
Good job, Aaron.